everyone. Welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today we're sitting down with someone whose story is deeply woven into the artistic fabric of Laguna Beach. For more than 5 decades, he's helped shape one of Orange County's most beloved cultural traditions, witnessing the Sawdust Art Festival evolve from its free-spirited beginnings into a nationally recognized celebration of local artists. Along the way, he's worn nearly every hat imaginable, from exhibiting artist to sales manager, board member, historian, and leader, while remaining committed to preserving the festival's artist-first mission and the creative community that has made Laguna Beach a world-renowned arts destination. Please welcome the president of the Sawdust Art Festival, Jay Grant. Okay. I have been going to the Sawdust Festival since I don't even know, like kindergarten probably, but I love getting to go as an adult and seeing the same vendors there. And I get a ceramic mushroom every year. But this year I was so excited because ABBA is now a vendor there. So I had so much fun getting to have dinner with ABBA at the Sawdust Festival.
Yes, ABBA has been a great addition to our show. We had a spot open for a new restaurateur, and we found ABBA and they found us. So we joined together, and it's going to be a great partnership. The food's good. They get it out quickly, and everybody loves them being here.
Yeah, they were so quick. It was like faster than I expected. It was amazing.
Yeah, we have some of the best food of any venue you could go to. We have Starfish, which is a great restaurant that's at one end of our show, and of course ABBA on the other. And then we have Taco Loco, run by a beloved Laguna named Gonzo, who used to have a place on Coast Highway for many years. And we've got him here. And then we've got Darnall, who runs the coffee bar. He's been with us 20 years. He's like family. Wow. So we all connect well together.
Oh, I love that. It's such a special place. But before we get into your time at the Sawdust Festival, what did you think that you wanted to do when you were growing up?
Well, just to be honest, I had no idea. I had no idea. I just moved through life and took the opportunities that came. And it was when I met my wife, who was a founding member of the Sawdust, here on our grounds in 1968. I met her in 1973, and I was introduced to the Sawdust then. We married in 1974, and then there was an opportunity. They needed a sales manager, somebody who was organized and could do simple math well and was honest. Mm-hmm. And somehow, in some way, in Providence, I was asked to be the sales manager, which deeply connected me to the Sawdust because I represent all the artists when they aren't in their booth and would take their sales from customers when they wanted to buy something and the artist wasn't available. So it's been a joy on many levels here at the Sawdust to make this such a big part of my life.
That's amazing. So can you take me back to that very first summer of you working at the Sawdust Festival? Like, what do you remember seeing, hearing, feeling? Like, what was it like?
Well, I'll say this, that in 1973, when I was courting my wife and going into the Sawdust regularly night after night, you have to remember it was right at kind of the height of the counterculture from the late 60s and early 70s. And the desire for artistic independence and freedom of expression was bursting everywhere on all kinds of levels in our culture. But especially here in Laguna, there was this great desire to have a independent show. At the time, there was only one other art festival, the Festival of Arts, but it was a juried show. And they mostly juried in fine artists. And they were very, very good artists. But the arts and crafts movement was emerging. And we had a lot of wonderful arts and crafts people here in town who did crafts like ceramics and jewelry and glass blowing. And so the Sawdust formed that way by artists wanting to have an independent a show in which there was no jury. You just needed to be a resident of Laguna. And we would build our own booths. We would have one. There were actually two, I'd say, founding values to the Sawdust. One was you could not be an artist in the Sawdust unless you made your own work. You had to make your own work. You could not resell anything else you bought somewhere else, and that's been solid in our in our show here every single year. And then secondly, that we're a membership run show. The members actually elect a board of directors, and the board of directors who come out of the artists themselves, which makes for an unusual board in having the members actually the artists of the place that they want to have representation. And the artists did quite well as they gave leadership to the show. And we didn't even have a staff for about 30 years. We just ran it ourselves, and it was all voluntary work.
Oh, cool.
So I'd say one of the great joys of the Sawdust is a sense of working together and developing into community. And you do the show every summer for 66 to 70 straight days. And so you become a part of each other's lives. And so I think one of the reasons the Sawdust has done so well is that we are in it together. We live together for 66 straight days. We're open every single day. We're not closed any day. We're open from 11 in the morning to 8 Sunday through Thursday, and then from 11 in the morning till 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. The place is hopping with visitors and excitement at the show because of all that we offer to a customer. We don't just offer art. We offer, as you already mentioned, great food. We have 3 stages with some of the best entertainment you'll find anywhere. And then the hands-on demonstrations are thrilling. I mean, a customer can come in and watch the glass blowers blow glass, and it's so cool. Yeah. I mean, I know that's a long answer. I could just keep talking probably for the full hour.
No, I love it. So did it look, because every time I walk in, I feel like transported into like a little fairy universe. It gets so cozy and there's nothing else like it. So did it look similar back then too?
It was. So back in the early 70s, the booths were mostly made of barnwood. So the booths were actually even more rustic than they are now. These days, you can't find barnwood very much, although I use some barnwood in my booth. But the show gradually, what happened was the city began to exert regulations on us and they should have, for electricity and safety issues and things like that. So it changed a little bit, but those first early years. In fact, I've written 2 books about the history of the Sawdust. And the first book was the Sawdust Festival of the early years, 1968 to 1979, because it was so exciting with all the visitors coming and the cast of characters that we all dressed up. We were open till midnight, and we started at 10 in the morning. And at midnight, most of us didn't go home for an hour or 2.
How fun.
Oh yeah.
Do you mind, how old was everybody back like in those early, I'm just picturing like everyone being in their 20s and like having just the best time.
They were in their 20s to about 30.
God.
And
So cool.
And then now we're at our 60 years. We're at 60. Actually, we're 58 years here on our grounds that we purchased a couple of years after we started leasing it. There were 2 earlier shows that were called kind of precursor or forerunner shows that for artists who had broken away from the Festival of Arts had got juried out. And they sort of were like at the roots of the Sawdust, but the real Sawdust here on our ground started in 68. And my wife, who's a jeweler, is the last exhibiting founding member of the show this year. That's still showing.
Okay, which one's her booth and which one is your booth? I've been so often that I kind of have
our booth is together.
Okay.
We have a booth together. She is literally the artist. I had, we started out doing ceramics and jewelry. And then my wife switched to jewelry only. And at that point, I did have a separate booth for a number of years, which I did some mostly porcelain and ceramics. Largely, I made a really vast array of porcelain wind chimes. And that sold all over the world. And for many years, I sold the wind chimes. In 1993, you might remember there was a major firestorm in Laguna, 400 houses burned, including ours and my studio. So at that point, after we rebuilt from the fire, it wasn't. I wasn't able to continue doing ceramics, and so now I just help manage my wife's booth and oversee it and run the business. Well, and she's the maker of the jewelry for the most part. I help a little bit on that end, but I'm pretty organized and help the booth stay going every day.
I'm so sorry to hear about that. The fire. Is her jewelry booth in like the middle back area?
Our jewelry booth is the booth that's closest to Abba.
Oh my gosh, I know what it is. Oh my God, no way.
Yeah, it has turntables of earrings, about 12 or 15 turntables. And then we also are selling a lot of ear cuffs this year also.
Very cool. Dang it. I wish I would have known that when I was there.
Well, you have to come back.
I will.
And I'd love to meet you back down there sometime. If you come back, be sure and let me know.
Yeah, I want to go like multiple times every year. Okay, well, looking back over like the past 5 decades, what have been some of the biggest changes that you've witnessed? Maybe not just in the festival itself, but in Laguna and its art community.
Laguna radically changed. You know, for instance, when I married my wife in 1974, our rent was $100 a month.
Oh my God.
And a block away from the Sawdust in a funky old 1942 cottage, you know, that needed some work. And there were a number of art studios around us, all renting for about the same. And back in those days, $100 a month was, it seemed like not too cheap. It seemed a lot.
Yeah.
But because $100 a month, there was almost like $1,000 now. But anyway, but then gradually when the real estate market went up in the early 80s, then a number of artists had to move out of town. They couldn't afford to stay in Laguna anymore. And Laguna changed. And I would say that it's always remained one of the most beautiful places in the world. I mean, you can't beat Laguna, the ocean and the beaches and the shops in Laguna. So it stayed somewhat the same, but it's changed demographically. And the Sawdust has stayed the same, but we've had to, as I said, we've had to adhere to some city regulations, make the booths more proper. I mean, we used to have all kinds of funky booths, 4 or 5 stories high and wires everywhere and all that. And then all that changed. So we become much more proper, I guess, in the eyes of the city. We have to have fire lanes in case a fire truck has to get in, and exit gates and all of that stuff, and handicap access. Those are the changes that we've made. And this year, we actually had a huge project in which we have remodeled our bathrooms, and then we have rebuilt.
They're great.
Yeah, bathrooms are great. We rebuilt our ceramics booth, our art ed booth, and we have a new metal booth that we're working on. So it's pretty exciting this year. It's a year of rejuvenation and renewal for us.
Definitely. I'm so sad I never got to see the 4-story high buildings. That sounds so whimsical.
Yeah, we have 2-story buildings now. We actually had mostly 1-story buildings last year. We raised, as a board, we decided to raise the limit 4 feet. So now if you walk through the Sawdust, there's a number of booths that have a loft in which a lot of the artists will go up and take a nap.
Wait, they're accessible?
Yeah, they build a staircase from their bottom story booth.
Oh, cool.
A little staircase up to a 2nd story where they can nap, or maybe they would just want to do a little extra work. They need a little privacy, and so they go up there. So it's the booths are outstanding this year. And we have booth awards for the best booth, and I have no idea who's going to get that best booth award, because there's a lot of candidates that could qualify for the best booth this year. It's really something to see.
I voted for the ceramic mushroom booth. They're so cute.
Yeah, that's Loopy Blanton. She's had her ceramic mushrooms for many, many years. She has a little shop out the canyon. As you're going out the canyon, she sometimes has her mushrooms out because she's home.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And sells them right off, which is kind of cool, because art in Laguna in the early 30s, the early artists in Laguna would just hang their paintings and their work on fences coming into town. That's how they would sell their art. That's how the art community in Laguna started. And Loopy, the mushroom lady, is one of those that has a little shop on the road going out of town. And I just think it's so nostalgic to see
Yes.
that.
That's so special. I'm happy you shared that story with me. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one thing that's always fascinated me about the Sawdust is that visitors don't just like buy art; they actually get to interact with the artists. And I had a special moment this year. It's next to Starfish. It's a little glass heart booth.
That's Hillel is his name.
Yes, he was so sweet and like explained everything to me. And I bought one of the little hearts, and he says you carry a little love everywhere you go, and it's just so special.
Yeah.
But I love getting to like actually talk with the people who make everything. So why do you think, like, why was that connection to the actual artist itself so important?
Well, that's just about one of our highest values is the connection of our customers and visitors with the artists themselves. And artists are required to do a number of hours each week demonstrating in their booth, but a lot of artists just never stop.
That.
Yes, they never stop demonstrating, and they're in their booth. And the experience for the customer and visitor is actually not only speaking to the artist and maybe getting background on something that you would consider buying, but sometimes they're actually making it in front of you. So if you go to the glass blowing booth, which is a fantastic experience, we have a cage where the glass blowers go in and they'll make a beautiful bowl, for instance, or a vase. Almost always a customer watching the procedure of making that bowl or vase will buy it right on the spot.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
I thought it was just to watch. What?
Well, you can watch it, but somebody's they've made it and they're going to put it in their booth and resell it, or somebody will watch it and just buy it, and it happens almost every time. Somebody will buy it and they'll say, "I watched this."
Yeah,
it's a mystical experience almost. Take a little bit of sand that you don't even know what's going to happen with this, and then mix it and then watch it grow and plunge it into the kiln and watch the glass blower create something that's just, and we have some of the world's, and this isn't hyperbole, we have some of the world's greatest glass blowers you'll find anywhere here at the Sawdust.
I mean, I believe it. I also love, like, you explaining this, I'm realizing like you could go every single day and see something different every single day.
I think that to really enjoy the Sawdust, you should be here, come at 10 in the morning and or 11 in the morning and leave at 8 to actually see everything. Then come back in a week and you'll go, it looks different, because you see, it's like reading a book, or watching a movie. You watch it the first time or read a book the first time, and when you go through a second time, you start seeing things a little different. Yes. Sawdust is such a magical experience that every corner, everywhere you look, there's something amazing and enthralling.
Are there any like little things that you would love for someone who hasn't been or a returning guest to keep an eye out for that they may not have noticed before?
Well, there's a lot of things they can look for, but they can also look forward to creating their own art. They can go into our ceramic booth and they can sit down with a potter, and the potter will help them throw their own little bowl or vase. They can go to the art education booth and learn how to paint. They can do that. They can also, we have a face painter in the back of the show. And if you want your face painted or a little tattoos, that will come off after a couple of days. Star Shields, who has worked at Disneyland and all over the country, is our face painter. He's one of our founding members. I think he came 2 or 3 years after my wife did, around 1970. He's been there ever since. He's a big attraction. And so for the visitor to actually be able to sit down and take something home with them, then to walk, we have 180 booths, to walk from booth to booth and look at some of the greatest arts and crafts you'll ever find anywhere. The most amazing artists down there. This is not like trinkets. This isn't like going into a trinket shop. At a tourist spot. This is really handmade, carefully crafted art that the artist can explain, as Hillel did to you with his little glass hearts. Explain the process, answer your questions, and then tell you how much they appreciate you coming and being a part of their day.
Totally. It's so funny about the face painter and the tattoo. I used to get those airbrush tattoos, every single time with my friends. We would go get little butterflies, and I thought I was so cool leaving with like a butterfly tattoo.
Yeah.
So funny. I love getting to come and see kids doing it.
And then also, I just think to make it a full experience, to come in and maybe throw your own pot or learn how to draw, have lunch there, and then move from. We have 3 stages that has some of the best entertainment you'll find anywhere, and listen to the various groups and solo artists, and then walk the sawdust strewn paths, and realize every booth that you look at was created by the artists themselves. They built it themselves.
The actual physical booth?
Physical booth they have built, or they've hired somebody to build it with them.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes. So,
oh my gosh, that makes me love Lupe's booth even more.
Yes, she had. I think maybe her son, Lupe's son, might have built their booth. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Yeah. He's there quite often, and then and it's a nice little corner of the show. Right across from Lupe is Patty Joe, who does pearl jewelry, and that's a great spot at the grounds right there. I also love the ceramics. He has like ceramic tiles, and he does like celebrities and stuff on them. So that's Jesse Bartels.
Okay, so he had just left a phone number. Was like, if I'm not here, just call. Yeah. And we were like, okay. So he called, and we just did a Venmo and like bought the tile like that. Yeah. And I was like, it just felt like very, neighborly. It was just cool to know like he trusts that we just did this, and like we're not leaving until we pay. But it was just sweet.
Yeah, he's a sweet guy, and he's a second generation. His dad Marlo, who is this year, he's in the Festival of Arts, but he's done a lot of tile work at the Sawdust in various places. So he's the son of one of the founding members of the show, and then we have second, third generation, a number of second and third generation artists there at the Sawdust.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, well, as someone who's helped preserve the festival's history, including documenting its early years, why was it so important for you to capture those stories before they were lost?
Well, that's exactly what happened. Around 2003, a lot of the veteran old timers like myself back then said, we don't have any record. We don't have any record of the Sawdust. There's nothing that anybody could find that speaks of our history. And so at that point, I decided, along with a couple of other people, to create a history of the Sawdust. And I did. I created it. I'll show you on the screen here. This is the first book I wrote.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And it was pretty rustic and funky. I'll tell you, I'll put it that way.
So cool.
It was 2004, and it was copy and paste. I had a photojournalist that was teaching Photoshop at a high school nearby. And there was the computer. We didn't know how to do the computer stuff. It was just like old newspaper stuff, like copy. Cut and paste, get photographs and slide them in. And so there's a great old time feel to it. It captures the early days of the Sawdust, mostly black and white photos. So it reminds you of the movies, like the old black and white movies, you know, how they were. And then in our 50th anniversary, I was the president of the show back then too. That was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Our 50th anniversary, I then did a 50-year history of the Sawdust. And this is the second book I created here.
Oh, very cool. Do they sell those at the Sawdust Festival, or where can people purchase them?
They sold out last summer, and we are considering republishing the 50th, but with an addition to it to make it a 60-year book. But I didn't have time this year to do that. It takes someone who loves the history of the Sawdust and loves the Sawdust to put the time and effort into making something like that. It took me two years to do the second book, 2 years with one of our staff ladies that understands computer well and did layout. I wrote most of the history and all the cut lines, things like that. But even the artists themselves, even board members are creating the history of the Sawdust, not hiring somebody outside to write the book.
Yeah, I like that.
It captures the heart and soul, the feel, the spirit of the show when you look at the two books.
Totally. Well, after dedicating more than half a century to the organization, what continues to inspire you to come back every season with the same enthusiasm?
Well, I think the most important attribute in life is love.
Mhm.
And I'm in love with the sawdust. I'm in love
Aw.
with the artist. I'm in love with my wife. I'm in love with
Oh,
our
that's so
booth.
sweet.
I'm in love with the history and the traditions and the uniqueness of the sawdust. I love the artist. And it doesn't mean everything goes right all the time. The sawdust has a lot of politics going on, all the
Mhm.
time. Some people liking this and some people not. And our new rebuilds were too expensive, or we should have done them different. And we have all of that sort of thing. But I think one of the greatest values in life is perseverance. You persevere when things are hard, and it always pays off.
I
No,
agree.
no gain without some pain. And so
Yeah.
I've gone through all these 53, 54 years now and persevered through uh, a few ups and downs during those years, but mostly ups for sure. And I think love carries the sawdust. At the heart of the sawdust is a great love for art, a great love for the artists themselves, for our community, for our visitors and customers, and a great love that we want to see the sawdust move ahead now and continue to be a success and to thrive. And to be honest, back in the early days, in the early 70s, we never thought anything about the future. All we thought about was we're going to go from year to year. There was
Wow.
most of the founding members back in the late 60s and early 70s would be in shock right now if they were alive and could see we were still going,
Oh, that's
because
so
we
beautiful.
didn't think like that. We just thought we're going to make the most. We're going to make the most of this year's sawdust. We're going to live every day to the fullest and create art and enjoy the customers and enjoy one another and build this community and have a fantastic time. And we did that from year to year. And it wasn't probably till after 20, 25 years, we started thinking, wow, this is going to keep going.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I can't even imagine just starting something with my friends and then
Yeah.
60 years down the line.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that you would like to shout out for listeners to keep an eye out for? This will air August 13th.
Well, I would, everywhere you look, you're going to be captivated. Everywhere there's something happening. Every booth, there's activity. I would say look for the new booths that have been built. The new demonstration booths. They're very inviting,
Yeah.
and don't be shy. Jump in and try throwing a pot. And you may say, "Well, I could never paint," but you'd be surprised. But we have our own artists that teach the classes, and you'd be
Oh my
surprised. You'll
gosh.
take home a little painting that you painted yourself. Be sure and just be sure and look at every booth. Don't run through too quickly.
Mhm.
You can get a brochure at the front, and it'll give you a map. It'll give you the names of the artists and where they are. Be sure and
Oh,
stop at the booths in which they're. I keep an eye out for the artists who are demonstrating. I think that
yeah.
would be a first. That would be a first encouragement to a new visitor. When
Mhm.
you come to a booth and someone's painting a painting, or they're creating jewelry, or they're working on a purse because they've got some leather and they're sewing it together. Stop and watch it, because you're not going to see that at the mall.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we
Right.
are coming to the end of our time, but before I let you go, I have
Uh-huh.
3 final questions for you that we call the
Okay.
thoughtful 3.
Uh-huh.
So first, if you could sit down with the younger version of yourself who first walked into the Sawdust Festival all those years ago, what advice would you give him?
Most artists struggle in the early years of their career.
Hmm.
If you love what you're doing, even though you're not making money and you're not making ends meet, and maybe you need a second job, don't give up. Don't give up. If
Yeah.
you love what you do, keep doing it. That's the advice I would give to a young aspiring artist that came into the sawdust.
That's great advice. Well, what do you hope first-time visitors walk away feeling after spending a day at the Sawdust?
Well, I would say I would hope they feel like I want to come back and tell my whole neighborhood, you need to go to the sawdust because it's so fun. It's a one of a kind experience. We're always rated by Arts and Crafts magazines as one of the top 5 arts and crafts shows in the country. I think we're number 1 myself. I'll be a little
I agree.
pat ourselves on the back, because I think we're very unique in that we stay together for 66 to 70 straight days. There's lots of street fairs and art fairs that last a weekend or a week or maybe a couple of weeks, but we're there every day for virtually more than 2 months.
Wow. Well, lastly, for people who have been coming to the Sawdust Festival for years, what is a hidden gem that they may have not discovered just yet?
The hidden gem would be the 12 new artists we have this year, whose art you couldn't see last year. We always have anywhere from 10 to 12 new artists each year. Ooh. And that's the gems you need to find, because you're going to see work that you haven't seen before. Even if you've been coming every year for 25 years, when you come this year, there'll be a dozen new artists that will just present to you just extraordinary work. And
ooh, are they marked on the brochure of like where the new ones are? Or?
No, they're not. Okay. I don't believe that anywhere in the brochure it says they're a first year artist. Okay. But I would, if you've been going a lot of years, then you'll recognize a number of the artists. And you could ask at the information booth if they had a list of the new artists. That might be helpful.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and then a lot of the artist booths has moved. They've moved from the previous show, and so the grounds layout is pretty special this year. And the booths, like I said, are bigger and more interesting, and there's lots to see there. So it's not. One of the constructive criticisms of the Sawdust over the years was, it kind of feels like it looks the same every year, because it was very similar. Not anymore. We've added the bigger booths, and we've got new demonstration booths, and there's a whole fresh look to the Sawdust. It's a fabulous looking show this year. It couldn't be better.
I also love the little table setup that you guys have near the water fountain kind of area. Not water fountain, but the waterfall area. There's a nice little table set up to sit there.
Yeah, you can. We have various areas where you can sit, but that area that you just described is a fun place to sit. And then you can hear the music on the main stage. You can hear the waterfall. And right around that area, some of our best artists are there. David Nelson, the silversmith's there, and Josh King, a painter. And it's a great place to maybe have your lunch and just. The Sawdust is a casual stroll. If you're wanting to run through it, that's not the way to do the Sawdust. You take your time and see the roses. As the saying goes, you drive down the road every day and you never see the roses. But in the Sawdust, you just look, and everywhere there's a rose. There's something beautiful. There's something captivating. There's something wonderful that you've never seen before.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you seriously so much for doing this. It was such a pleasure getting to meet you. I am such a huge fan, so this is great.
Well, I love bragging about the Sawdust because it's all true.